USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
Go wherever they want, where they can stay. But they should love our country. They shouldn't hate our country. You look at what they've said. I have clips right here. The most vile, horrible statements about our country, about Israel, about others.
President Trump's comments at the White House on Tuesday after a cabinet meeting. Now the House is set to vote on a resolution condemning the president's tweets about 4 freshman progressive lawmakers. On Capitol Hill, Senate lawmakers are questioning Facebook executives during a Senate Banking Committee hearing on the company's cryptocurrency project.
Surely they don't respect the power of the technologies they are playing with, like a toddler who has gotten his hands on a book of matches. Facebook has burned down the house over and over and called every arson a learning experience.
Democratic Senator from Ohio, Sherrod Brown, and you're listening to USA Radio News. President Trump says his administration is going to look into possible dealings between Google and the Chinese government. This as PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel accused Google of possible treason for working with Beijing. A report from the CDC finds that deaths from unintentional injuries have been rising in America. USA Radio Network's Chris Barnes with the details.
We know that violence is responsible for a lot of American deaths, but this new report finds deaths from unintentional injuries have increased over the past 2 decades. In fact, they're up by 40% between 1999 and 2017. The 3 leading causes of these kinds of death: traffic accidents, drug overdoses, and falls. The CDC says the spike in deaths may be largely due in part to the nation's opioid crisis, which not only causes overdoses, but can lead to traffic accidents, falls, and other sorts of accidents.
And you're listening to USA Radio News. As more and more people are smuggling large quantities of drugs from Mexico into the United States, many people wonder what can be done and where all these drugs end up. J. Todd Scott is a DEA agent, and he tells me that the drugs that flow across the border from Mexico, they end up in all different parts of the United States.
Arizona, which is also where I've worked, Texas. I mean, these are gateways to the problems that we're seeing back east. You know, nowadays, fentanyl and heroin problems that have become so prevalent, have been so focused on, all of that fentanyl and heroin, or most of it, comes through these border regions, and that's how it gets east. And the opioid crisis overall is something that I have worked both here on the border and in Kentucky, where I'm from. And I have a book coming out next year that is set in Kentucky that deals a lot with that. It's another crime novel, but it uses the opioid crisis as a backdrop. And at the end of the day, these cartels, they're money-making enterprises, and right now, unfortunately, in society, there's a lot of money to be made in drug trafficking.
J. Todd Scott is author of the book This Side of the Night, where he deals with the Mexican drug cartel in a fiction way. Please remember, you can find us online at usaradio.com or on Facebook at USA Radio. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.